Hello, welcome to another Ultra League video. This time we have battle showcase from my friend Tomahawk. These aren't just battles. There's a little story behind this. So first off, I asked Tomahawk to provide a team or suggest a team that I could put on the graphic with Ghost Stadium, and he gave us Pidgeot, Cobalion as Cavalier, but that was not his first team that he provided. The first team he provided was Talonflame, Cresselia, and Heliolisk, and I didn't really like it, right? I like the idea behind it, but I rather have something that's a little bit, you know, if you're really clueless on what to run, something easier, right? Talonflame Heliolisk is probably not the first thing that comes to mind here. So I told him, give me a video with a good streak with it, and I'll publicly apologize here, right? And he said, challenge accepted. That made me happy, because that's Heliolisk content for me. Let's take a look at the team he has here. So here's the team. It's Talonflame, Cresselia with Grass Knot and Moonblast, and Heliolisk with Volt Switch, Breaking Swipe, and Grass Knot as well. Both Pokemon have grass type coverage, basically for Swampert, also for other water types that threaten the Talonflame here. Now, the idea to deal with the Swampert is to Brave Bird it in the lead with Talonflame, because Talonflame can take one Hydro Cannon to the face, and in later game you can possibly land a Grass Knot with either Cresselia or Heliolisk. Let's take a look at the first battle here. The first battle that we have has a pretty good lead for Tomahawk here. Now, Talonflame isn't really the most common Pokemon or Fire Flying anymore. That is Charizard, but it does do way better against a Pokemon like Alolan Sandslash. And this is a Pokemon you completely wall. I believe it can run Psychic. Do we see Psychic here? We see Moonblast, which is resisted. The other attack that is resisted is the Meteor Mash, which is Steel type, right? First Flame Charge coming through. This is where I kind of find Talonflame so-so, because Flame Charge is not the strongest attack, of course. But they add up over time, especially now that 2 Flame Charges KO. You also have a double boosted Bird here. And it does KO here. You don't see this Pokemon a lot. This is a Galarian Moltres. This learns Wing Attack as the fast attack. It has Ancient Power as one of the charge attacks, which this is one of them, because the other ones are more expensive in Brave Bird and Payback. Yeah, Payback. Which makes it a bit of an iffy flyer to use. I do like the Pokemon itself a lot, and I'm really hoping to get one myself at the time. But look at this. He can actually get another shield if he wanted to. He's not going to this time. But the Incinerate double boosted, triple boosted at some point, added up so much here. Going into the Heliolisk, which definitely cannot take a Payback as much, I think. It's a very fragile Pokemon, but you can also tell by the Volt Switch is adding up so much. The Volt Switch went through here. If that KOs, the opponent cannot clear a Breaking Swipe debuff anymore. It goes for the Break Bird, which is resisted. And in the back is a Cobalion. This should be a very easy win for Tomahawk, simply because Cresselia is so good there, especially now that you can debuff it. I don't like Tomahawk throwing these charge attacks though, because you stall the clock with this, right? The clock, the switch timer is misaligned here by at least 20 seconds, but the opponent thinks that there's no play anyway, so they top left. Obviously, taking out a full Cresselia or Cobalion sounds like an impossible mission anyway. The next battle that we have is Talonflame into Gliscor. We've seen a lot of Gligar in Open Grey League. We have the Gliscor here, which I doubt is running Aerial Ace. And the opponent swaps in a Registeel. This is definitely not an answer, and this is definitely where Tomahawk wants to see it. Now, if you have a slight energy advantage on the Registeel, you can actually flip this with good timing on your Zap Cannon there. Shooting the first one makes sense, simply because that one does the least amount of damage, but man, this is not great. Registeel on energy disadvantage. I don't know why he's doing that. Let's see. Going for 3 Incinerators before throwing that Flame Charge. Very, very optimal farming here from Tomahawk. You could even at this point decide to switch out here to just, yeah, tank the energy on the Cresselia. I like this play a lot, because Cresselia is such a bulky Pokemon. Has a horrible matchup against Registeel, but that's only against Registeel from full health, and you actually get a nasty farm down here too. This is an incredible play. Also, no debuff really helps there, and in comes that Gliscor again. Cresselia generally puts up a very good fight against Gliscor, despite taking super effective Night Slash, just because of its incredible bulk here. But since you have an energy lead this much, I think Cresselia is just being chilling. Now, first Night Slash comes through, you see that does like no damage. This is only a good matchup for Gliscor if you get the boost. So kind of a iffy matchup for the Gliscor for sure. This is looking very good for Tomahawk. The only way the opponent can win is to have a Swampert at this point. Let's see. It's a Tapu Fini. And this is not as good as a Swampert against the Heliolisk. Obviously, it's a very hard Talonflame counter, but Tomahawk gets to a Grass Knot here, then can switch into Heliolisk and gets super effective Volt Switches on this Tapu Fini. Now, you do need to land a Grass Knot. The Breaking Swipe does nothing, but at this point, I don't think that this Tapu Fini is very threatening anymore. You can even go for the Breaking Swipe here, to be honest, but it looks like you can just even farm it completely down. That's, I guess, the benefit of having an high attack. Your Volt Switches do more there. Game number 3, we're actually going to see a really good lead for Tomahawk here. We have the Alolan Sandslash. This is exactly where he needs this. The opponent swaps into a Nidoqueen, and Tomahawk does not have a great answer, but luckily the opponent swaps a little bit slow, so he's able to fire a charge attack first before swapping. Even Cresselia doesn't do great here because you don't have that future sight here, but the opponent shields that. You can take this Poison Fang quite comfortably. I think now you can bring in the Cresselia as well. And both your Pokemon do okay against the Alolan Sensors at this point. So I think that Tomahawk is very fine here. This Grass Knot won't do as much damage, but with the Psycho Cuts it's adding up, you might even decide to keep the shield for the Heliolisk. Though Heliolisk with 2 resisted charge attacks doesn't do that hot against the Alolan Sandslash either. Yeah, the Grass Knot doesn't do too much. Next one will definitely take out though. One thing that Tomahawk needs to be careful of is that this Alolan Sandslash gets a ton of farm. He's already shield up, so it might not be the worst problem. Let's see. Alolan Sandslash comes back in here, and you get some chip. But man, you have everything you have here is resisted on the Alolan Sandslash. It's quite fragile because it's also Shadow, but that energy is not going to be great to eat anywhere. You might get to another Moonblast here, actually. You do, yeah, that's nice. But this Alolan Sandslash has 100 energy at this point. And Talonflame, not the bulkiest Pokemon. I guess you're going to shield 1 or 2. He also gets denied on the Incinerate, so the Incinerate that would have done a lot of damage doesn't even do that much. No shields the Ice Punch, interesting play. Then goes into the Giratina. And this gets really interesting. This is a Dragon Breath Giratina, so it's not even that bad against the Heliolisk. Obviously, Heliolisk is gonna spam those breaking swipes, super effective. They debuff, so that's great. But you might be too weak now to take on that Alolan Sandslash. That Incinerate Deny, that might actually be crucial here. Really unfortunate for Tomahawk. Another breaking swipe coming in here. And you need 3 to KO here, so that makes this a little bit iffy. But at least they come out really quick. Like, I believe it's 3 volt switch for the first one, and then it's 2 volt switch for the next 2. For the next 3 even. Oh my! Oh, and sneaks one as well. That's pretty nice. Lets it go, which is interesting. I don't hate that per se, simply because the Shadow Claws are double resisted, so the Alolan Sandslash might not be able to farm down. But I don't know actually. You gotta need the debuff here and then get to a move, but I don't think you get there. You need to survive the, yeah, he loses this. This one is a match that Tomahawk loses. I don't think that's entirely to the denial of that Incinerate though. The Incinerate would have done a lot of damage, but it would not have killed the Alolan Sandslash. In the next battle, we see a pretty good lead for Tomahawk. You resist the counts here, but this Pokemon might have a Stone Edge. It also probably learns Triple Axle and goes into the Steelix, which is arguably a worse counter here, but you have to stay in here. I'm really curious on how this is gonna go. If you want to do optimal timing here, you should do 1 Incinerate, because then you do 5 turns yourself, and the opponent does 2 Dragon Tails, which is 6 turns. So you lose very little on that. And because of that bad timing on Tomahawk's side, this Steelix now gets to this Dragon Tail before you get to your Flame Charge. So that's kind of unfortunate. Now Tomahawk does go for better timing. Yeah, gives 2 turns away. It's acceptable. It's acceptable. I don't think this KOs yet, though. Yeah, Steelix is very bulky, and it might even get to another Breaking Swipe here. It does. If you shield this, it might be a shield KO. I think barely not. Looks like he doesn't want to keep that switch advantage. That makes sense. Let's see what comes in. It is Heliolisk, and going for that resisted Brave Bird, which is such a strong attack that it's still going to do a lot to this. Do mind that the Steelix got to 3 breaking swipes there, so that was pretty much debuff there. And this is very fine for Tomahawk. He just wanted to keep switch advantage because he had 2 answers to this Hitmontop, so he can just get his Cresselia on it now. Triple Axle does boost your attack, however, but I think a Moonblast is about to take out this Hitmontop. Hitmontop is, I believe, fully Excel here. It goes to level 50. I think it's also 2467. I'm not sure if that's the Hundo CP. Probably something I should look up. I think the Hundo is like 2442, and this is Best Buddied as well. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Hitmontop putting up a fight, but you know, it's not enough. The Heliolisk comes back in, but Heliolisk is not strong enough, not bulky enough to take down the rest of this team. Look at how much that Moonblast does. That's just crazy. I stand by my point that I don't find Heliolisk very impressive. I do think Talonflame and Cresselia are putting in a lot of work for this team. In the final battle that we have here, we have another pretty good lead for Tomahawk. Now, this matchup is dependent on the charge attack of Cresselia. If it doesn't have Future Sight, this is pretty bad. If it does have Future Sight, you win this matchup, I believe, in the 0s and the 1s as the Cresselia. And the Cresselia is actually not throwing anything at all. I think that the opponent is just eating a charge attack and then swapping out, or waiting for the Oh yeah, looks like he is swapping into Steelix. So that's probably a Grass, not Moonblast Cresselia. But now the Talonflame is already boosted. So this is even going to do more damage. And look at this. I think Tomahawk is just so finer, just buffing himself even more. You could shield and farm down here, I think. What am I saying? You can actually no shield. It's only a breaking swipe. But he is gonna throw, actually. I think you could have gone the farm down, maybe. Nah, maybe not, right? Nah. No, it's 12 turns to get to the breaking swipe. It's 15 to farm down here. Now coming in, back in with the Crest. This might barely knock out, this Moonblast. Barely doesn't. And you can even get to that Brave Bird. Oh, he doesn't get to the Brave Bird! Oh, he got knocked out in 3 side cuts there. That's so unfortunate. Really comes down to what's in the back now. I mean, Tomahawk is still ahead a lot, right? Because there's half a Cresselia from the opponent and the full Pokemon. And the Cresselia from Tomahawk is just so much healthier. Moonblast coming in. This is not the most exciting. Not the most exciting. Oh, the opponent swaps immediately into a Registeel. The opponent was running Cresselia Double Steel. All 5,000 stat distribution. Yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, that's fun. This team is not really good against Alone Sandslash from the opponent. Not really good against Talonflame. But yeah, I guess they were able to take it out somewhat. Now going into the Heliolisk, but this also, all the charge attacks are resisted here. This matchup is gonna take a while. I think we're like just barely over halfway of this match actually. Just because it's gonna keep debuffing here, it's gonna keep debuffing. The opponent also kept their Cresselia, so they can clear the debuff as well at some point. I'm pretty sure you might want to go Grass Knot anyway at some point here because it's just more efficient. But also there's 2 shields on that Registeel, so maybe not. Let's see. Another debuff. Opponent's still not shooting. I mean, yeah. Okay, the opponent tries to catch unsuccessfully, but he has to throw it anyway. Kinda, I guess kinda. I mean, you could take a move here far more because the Registeel just doesn't, you know, the Cresselia wouldn't KO you with the Moonblast, so the Focus Blast does way more from the Registeel. Oh, and gets to another one. I think that's charge attack priority as well. This match is so stupid. This is like 3 minutes of, oh, it's not charge attack priority. Gets to a Moonblast. This might KO, barely not, maybe. But the Registeel cannot get the 2 charge attacks no matter what here. Almost a timeout. Yeah, this is a very fun team. Obviously, there's going to be a timeout when you run 3 of the bulkiest Pokemon, even when they don't have really good synergy in Ultra League. So yeah, that's a 4-1 score from Tomahawk here. So after these battles, Tomahawk clearly showed that the team can work very well. Obviously, there was no Swampert in that set, but I will pay my respect to Tomahawk by doing something else, I guess. I have this Heliolisk here, a rank 8 for Ultra. It doesn't even go Excel, so I don't need Excel candy. I don't have a lot of dust, but yeah, 50k left. Oh wait, that's for the second move. Alright, well, that was it. Thank you, Tomahawk, for submitting these battles. And I hope you like this video. I'll see you in